Hi, families. My name is Jessica Shelley, and I'm the co-founder and head educator at DailiesPods. Today, we have Miss Tabitha here, who is one of our talented DailiesPods educators, and she's here to share a little bit of information about something that she's passionate about in the field of education. So we'll just start with a quick introduction. Miss Tabitha, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and why you like teaching with DailiesPods?
Hi, everybody. I'm Tabitha. I really like teaching with dailies because I get the opportunity to create hands-on experiences with my students and to build relationships with them through those experiences. And I really enjoy seeing them grow and learn and reach their goals. And I really like that I have those opportunities to do that here at Dailies.
Excellent. Well, we're super excited to have you on the team and being able to support parents and families from across the country. So pretty excited. What are you going to be sharing with us today?
Today, I want to talk about something that I took a class on in grad school, and it's about brain-based learning or brain-based teaching. And the class that I took about it was about applying what's been used in brain research to our everyday lives and applying that to the classroom and how we can teach. And I think it's something that everybody can learn from. And I'm excited to share some of my thoughts on it.
Awesome. Yeah, great topic for today. So what is brain-based learning or brain-based teaching?
Yeah, so basically brain-based learning is just ways that we can learn that are compatible with how our brains work. And so some of those things are simple, just moving around, doing activities like puzzles or problem solving, building social skills and relationships with other people. Those are things that support brain-based learning. And we can incorporate that in our classroom when we're doing things like scavenger hunts, when we're having the students move around and they're taking the lead and they're taking charge of their own learning and making it more meaningful for them. So just doing things like that all play a part in brain-based learning. And that's something that I studied in this class. And we studied the book Teaching with the Brain in Mind by Eric Jensen. And he used to be a teacher and a professor, and now he studies neuroscience. So I learned a lot from reading that book and taking that class. And I'm looking forward to sharing more about that.
Awesome. Yeah, great topic. Great topic. So how is brain-based learning typically used in the classroom? Can you give us an example of an activity that students might be doing?
Right. In the classroom, one of the things that teachers can do to incorporate brain-based learning is to model for their students. So it could be as simple as drawing a picture of a square and then having the students to draw that picture. And we're drawing the picture of the square together in class. And then after that, they're doing it on their own. And they're thinking about things in real life that look like a square. And they're really able to apply what they're learning in their everyday lives. And so that's just one strategy that teachers can use in the classroom. Having students do puzzles, having students do problem solving activities. One of the activities I like to do is a mystery bag activity. So I'll just have a bag and I'll have a secret item in there, and I'll help my students guess what's in the bag by prompting them a little bit and helping them to collaborate with each other and really use what they know, really use that prior knowledge to guess what's in the bag and, do a lot of those problem solving activities. Those are ways that teachers can incorporate brain-based learning in the classroom.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you have any tips for parents who are starting, like, maybe this is like a whole new approach for them with how to support their child at home? So how could they also implement those principles and those ideas at home with the resources that they have?
Yeah, so at home, you can incorporate this by having your child do puzzles, having them do scavenger hunts, and different other problem solving activities. I think those are ways that they can incorporate brain-based learning without even really thinking about it. And just having your child build relationships with other children, and getting that time to be independent and take the lead in figuring out what they like to do and how they stand out from everybody else, and like really finding their own independence. Doing things like that at home with your children will help create some of those brain-based learning opportunities for them.
Great. Yeah. I have a 4 and 5-year-old at home right now. And so we're getting ready for kindergarten and also for preschool. And so we're always looking for new things to try and different approaches to learning. And I love that brain-based is so, grounded in those authentic experiences with kids that feel genuine to their real life. I remember when I was teaching first grade, we did a big scavenger hunt throughout the school during like the first or second week of school to go with our math unit on counting to 120. And it was a collaborative thing where we had little riddles and we were going to different places throughout the school. And then they found like the numbers of sticky notes. And then we would put them all together on this big 120 chart. And we had lots of great conversations too about what's 10 more, 10 less. Maybe does this go on like the 5th row if this is the 50s? Things like that get kids moving and making those connections with their peers once again in those social environments, all connecting those real world experiences back to whatever content they're learning. So yeah, great concepts, great ideas. Is there anything else that people should maybe know about this topic?
Yeah, just going back to like some of the things that parents can take away from this. Some of the things that I found from reading that book and from being in that class was that our nutrition and the foods that we eat support our minds and they support our brains. So things like I learned that sweet potatoes can help improve your memory and can help with learning. And incorporating those leafy green vegetables and protein and making sure you're getting iron and all of those things support having a healthy brain and will help children to be able to perform better in the classroom, and they'll be able to grow and they'll be able to thrive. And I think that families and teachers can really benefit from this approach. And I really think that it's something that people should try to incorporate if they can.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And if I remember correctly too, so the brain-based research and brain-based learning is mostly about making sure that the subjects aren't necessarily like segmented. So like just because we do math this way doesn't mean that we can't do math another way. And about strengthening those connections that students are having so that as they're filing away new information, something else can prompt them to retrieve that information. So whether that was the shared experience or the social interaction or the fact that, hey, I applied this math skill during a math word problem where I'm also practicing reading skills or something like that as well, where there's a lot of overlap, will help strengthen those bonds and connections with information. So thinking too, encouraging parents to not be so strict or so focused on just providing worksheets or printables, but really kind of getting kids, learning through other methods. Like you had mentioned already, like puzzles are a great way, like put some letters on the back of puzzles or numbers on the back of puzzles and see if they could also match that. We were actually talking the other day with our curriculum development team about some other activities that you can take, like a maze and put hidden letters throughout the maze, and then that's like the track for them. So thinking outside the box with parents about how everything doesn't have to be scripted from a teacher, and it really is just taking that time to sit down, showing them how to draw the square first, and then having them draw the square after. And also parents, if they were wanting to kind of see this in action, this is something we do in our DailiesPods classes. So they can feel free to sit next to their learner and kind of see from the teacher what this could look like at home. But yeah, is there anything else, any other tips, tricks either for teachers or for parents as they kind of apply this brain-based learning to the children that they're interacting with?
Yeah, I definitely think that we all can incorporate all of these strategies. And I think that's what makes this topic so interesting, because we all have brains and
Yeah.
we can all use this information. And even something like where you're seated when you're studying or when you're learning. I know a lot of teachers, when they're thinking about the layout of their classroom and how to design it, they want to keep in mind how students can learn in that environment, and try to eliminate distractions, and try to create the best environment for their student. And I think that's something that we do here at Dailies, and I think that's something that families can do at home, is try to make sure that, when their students or when their children are learning, that, we can try and eliminate those distractions, even just having them seated at a desk, something like that, where they can focus, supports the brain and it supports the mind. And I know for me, like I remember when I first started college, I did all of my homework in my dorm room, sitting on my bed. There was a desk in there, but I didn't use it.
Yes.
And I sat on my bed with my laptop and my notes. And I think it made things a little more harder than it could have, versus if I went to the library and sat at a desk, or if I sat at the desk that was in my room. So even thinking about, things like that, being able to sit near sunlight or sit outside. If you like to listen to music while you're studying, all of those things play a role in supporting how our brains work. And when we learn, our brains learn. So everything that we do plays a part in this. And I think that that's something that that we all can take away.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that that's a great point too, is, a lot of our families that are using DailiesPods right now are have students or children in the ages 3 to 9. And so really thinking about how, if we set them up for success at these really early ages, that maybe, I mean, I was just as guilty when I was in college of doing like work on the bed. So I feel that.
Yes.
But really just setting that tone and that structure for like, hey, figuring out what works best for them as far as their learning journey goes, because they'll be in so many different places as they're trying to like learn new information, whether that be, in a library with a tutor, or in a classroom with 25 other kids, or in a small group setting. They're going to be asked to, intake information in every area of their life. So thinking about how we can best support them with figuring out that kind of structure that works best for them, so that by the time they get to college, maybe they've figured out that structure a little bit more so that they can be
Right.
more successful too, as they grow into independent students. So,
Yes.
all
And it's
great
different for
things.
everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has different learning styles and different preferences. And so you can really make it your own. And that's what's cool about this.
Yes, I completely agree. Yeah, great topic today. Is there anything else that parents or teachers should know about brain-based learning or teaching?
Um, I think that the biggest takeaway from this is just knowing that everything that we do and how we learn, that's how our brains learn. And I know with the younger children and the younger students, when we're talking about the five senses, that's how our brains learn. When we see things, when we hear things, when we touch things. And so that's something that, families and teachers can know, to help lay that foundation for our younger students, that's through our five senses. That's how we receive information, and that's how our brains learn, and then that's how we learn, and that's how we grow, um, and that's about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, great, great. Yeah. Lots of different sensory inputs and things. Also that kind of brings up another kind of little segment of like students that have maybe special needs, or students that maybe have sensory difficulties and things, and how we can help support them in figuring out that kind of environment that is most will help them be most successful as learners. So some students, actually as a classroom teacher, I had students that had, they were sensitive to sound. And so when we were doing a big class activity, sometimes that would be overwhelming, and realizing that that affects their learning, right? So how do we set up classroom engagement activities to then support those students that have maybe those difficulties with engaging in those large group activities? So I love that that's how else we can provide with DailiesPods, is that they can be in their own home, they can be in their own setting, whether they're sitting on a fluffy chair that they can, graze throughout the session if they need to, or if they need to turn down their computer volume, whatever they need in order to feel comfortable learning. I love that we can provide that for families through DailiesPods, and that our teachers are in tune with that and sensitive to that as well. Mindful is a great word. Maybe that's another webinar in the future, mindfulness. But yeah, just really great content today, and I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. Parents, if you're interested in joining a free DailiesPods class, the first class is on us. You could come join a class with Miss Tabitha as well. She would love to have you. If you do have any questions or any comments or anything about brain research or brain-based learning, feel free to give us a message, give us a call, however it works best for you, and we'd love to support you in that journey. But thank you again, Miss Tabitha, for joining us, and parents, we will be learning with you again soon. Bye.